It is 1221 AD. Genghis Khan's army has just destroyed the Khwarezmian Empire. Nothing on earth can challenge them. 100,000 Mongol warriors spread across the steppe, the deadliest archers the world has ever produced. Every warrior can hit a moving target from horseback at full gallop. They trained from the age of 3, but something appears above the steppe today. Not a bird, not a cloud, something that growls. Rotors cutting the air, missiles locked, a 30mm cannon pointed straight at the ground below. This is what happens when an Apache attack helicopter meets the army of Genghis Khan. The AH-64 Apache is the most lethal attack helicopter ever built. It was designed for one purpose: destroying armies. 2 crew members, a pilot in the back, a gunner in the front, both behind armored glass and steel. Its primary weapon is a 30mm chain cannon mounted under the nose. 600 rounds per minute, 16 Hellfire missiles hang from its wings. Each one can destroy a tank from 5 miles away. 76 Hydra rockets fill the remaining pylons. Area weapons designed to shred troop formations on open ground. Top speed, 180 miles per hour. It can hover, spin, retreat, and strike from any angle. Thermal imaging and night vision give the crew perfect awareness in total darkness, smoke, and dust storms. The airframe can survive hits from 23mm rounds in critical areas. It is tough, but not invincible. The tail rotor, engine intakes, and sensor pods are exposed. A lucky hit there changes everything. And the Apache carries roughly 2.5 hours of fuel. Then it must land, or fall. Now the other side. The Mongol army was not just the largest, it was the most skilled with a bow. Mongol children learned to ride at 3 and shoot at 5. By 10, they could kill from horseback. Their composite bows had a range of over 500 yards, comparable to early firearms built centuries later. Each warrior carried 2 bows and at least 60 arrows. Multiply that by 100,000 men. 6 million arrows. Enough to darken the sky for hours without a single quiver running empty. They could fire accurately while riding at full speed, turning backward in the saddle, even hanging sideways off the horse. Genghis Khan used massed arrow volleys as a primary weapon. Thousands of warriors firing skyward at the same instant. Against ground targets, this was devastating. But what about something hovering in the sky? That is the real question. The Mongols also used fire arrows and crude explosives captured from Chinese engineers during the northern campaigns. They were hunters who tracked eagles across the open sky. They understood flight, wind, and distance instinctively. Genghis Khan's greatest weapon was never any bow or blade. It was his ability to adapt to the unknown. He had never lost a campaign, and today, a new kind of eagle circles above his army. Here is the scenario. A fully armed Apache appears at altitude above the steppe, 3 miles from the horde. Full loadout, 16 Hellfires, 76 Hydra rockets, 1,200 rounds of 30mm cannon ammunition, and full fuel. No base, no resupply, no wingman. 1 helicopter against the full military strength of the Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan has 100,000 cavalry, siege engineers, captured Chinese fire weapon crews, and 6 million arrows. The steppe is wide open. No mountains, no forests, no cover for the ground. The helicopter can see everything, but the Mongols can also see the sky, and they have been shooting at it their entire lives. The Apache approaches at 2,000 feet. The pilot sees the Mongol camp on thermal imaging. A sea of heat signatures, tens of thousands of horses and riders spread across miles, cooking fires, tents, and supply wagons everywhere. The gunner locks the first Hellfire missile onto the densest cluster of riders. Range, 4 miles. He fires. The missile streaks downward in silence. No one on the ground hears it coming. No warning at all. The impact is catastrophic. An explosion the Mongols have no concept of. Riders, horses, and earth erupt together. Before the dust settles, a second Hellfire launches, then a third, each one ripping the formation apart. Panic spreads through the outer ranks. Warriors scramble for horses, searching for an enemy. But they see nothing. The Apache is too high, too fast, and too quiet at range for anyone on the ground to find. 4 Hellfires used, 12 remain. Hundreds of Mongol warriors are dead, and they have not even seen their attacker. Genghis Khan rides to a high ridge. His generals point skyward. There, a dark shape hovering against the clouds. The Khan gives an order. 10,000 riders spread wide across the plain. Do not cluster. Scatter like seeds. The Apache switches to Hydra rockets. Salvos of unguided rockets rain down into the scattered formations below. Each burst kills dozens. The 30mm cannon joins in, stitching lines of fire across the open steppe. Riders try to flee, but the helicopter follows at 180 miles per hour. There is no outrunning it. 30 minutes in, 6 Hellfires, 20 rockets, and 300 cannon rounds spent. Devastating losses on the ground below. But Genghis Khan is not panicking. He is counting. The thunder comes in bursts. It must have limits. Here is where the real battle begins. Not steel against arrows, but patience against fuel. Genghis Khan orders his entire army to scatter into groups of 50. No dense formations, no easy targets. He sends riders in every direction, not to fight, but to stretch the battlefield across 50 miles of steppe. The Apache can chase one group, but it cannot chase 2,000 groups. For every group hit, hundreds remain. The Khan orders fires lit across the grassland. Wet grass, dung, anything that creates thick columns of dark smoke. Smoke rises from 100 points across the steppe. Thermal imaging still works, but visual targeting is blinded. Then the order that changes everything. When the sky beast comes low, every warrior fires upward. All at once, not aimed shots. A wall of arrows. Thousands launched skyward in a single coordinated volley at the same moment. The Apache pilot drops to 500 feet to strafe a group of riders with the cannon. Standard attack run. The horns sound. 5,000 bows release at once. A dark cloud of arrows climbs toward the helicopter. Most miss. Arrows were never designed for this kind of target, but 5,000 arrows fill an enormous volume of sky. 2 arrows strike the tail section. One cracks against armored plating. The other nicks a hydraulic line near the rotor. Not fatal, but a warning. The Apache is armored, but it was never designed to fly through a rain of arrows. The pilot climbs back to altitude. Safer up high, but the cannon is less accurate, and the rockets spread wider. Meanwhile, the Mongols keep burning the steppe. The entire horizon is becoming a wall of brown and black haze. The fuel gauge drops. 90 minutes of flight time gone. Roughly 60 minutes remain before the tank runs dry. The Apache has 10 Hellfires, 50 rockets, and 800 cannon rounds left. Plenty of firepower, not enough time. Genghis Khan does not need to destroy the beast. He just needs to wait for it to get tired. And this is where the Apache's greatest strength becomes its fatal weakness. It flies, but flight demands fuel. 2.5 hours. That is all the Apache carries. In full combat with maneuvering, maybe even less. When the fuel runs out, there is no slow stop. The rotors wind down. The machine falls from the sky. In those 2 hours, the Apache could kill thousands, maybe 10,000. Destruction beyond anything that existed in 1221. But 10,000 out of 100,000 is 10%. Genghis Khan has lost worse than that, and still won. The Mongols survived the destruction of entire cities. They endured famine, desert crossings, and wars on 4 fronts at once. A single flying weapon, no matter how terrifying, is a problem with an expiration date, and the Khan knows it. The moment it lands or crashes, two crew members face 100,000 warriors closing in across open ground. The helicopter cannot reload, cannot refuel, and cannot be repaired on the Mongolian steppe in 1221 AD. The Abrams could at least park and fight as a fortress. The Apache without fuel is just scattered wreckage.
Short-term, the Apache delivers catastrophic destruction from the sky over the steppe. Long-term, the same Apache becomes cold wreckage on the ground surrounded by Mongol warriors.
Long-term, the Khan wins again because the sky beast has a heartbeat and he can hear it slowing down. Two modern weapons, two encounters with the same ancient empire, and the same lesson emerges both times. Raw power without supply lines is a countdown, not a strategy. Genghis Khan understood that better than any modern general. The Apache burns brighter than the Abrams ever could, but it burns out even faster. 2 hours versus 2 days. So, which is more dangerous against the Khan? The tank or the helicopter? Fight it out in the comments. Next time, we leave the Mongol steppe behind. The next battle goes somewhere no one expects. Subscribe now.